matchup, but the fact that you are not willing to just concede and the belief that you have in yourself, because I'm the same way. It's like if somebody came over before the game and any of the guys in the Lakers and were like, even though I'm not a great shooter, Trudell, I'm gonna crush you in this three-point performance. I'd be like, and I would be like, okay, Austin Reeves, you would be favored to do so by a lot, but you're gonna have to do it.
Thank you. That's what I said. You're just gonna have to earn your win.
I'm not conceding anything ever, so I appreciate it.
For those of you that missed the pregame show, just tune into the Lake Show podcast. We talk about it all during that.
Sorry, just to hijack the A block here.
No, I loved it.
The Lakers also won last night.
They did. Let's dive right in. Austin Reeves. Starting with him, he had himself a night against the Spurs. 30 points to go along with 7 boards, 6 assists, and 36 minutes of action in the win. If you haven't been watching the Lakers, this sort of play has become the standard for AR, and he spoke about his performance and the win. Take a listen.
I just thought we, played hard, stuck to the game plan, and we continue to build that chemistry, and I think you can tell by the way we're playing. Everybody's sharing the ball. Luka obviously causes so much, havoc for teams' defenses that the majority of the time you got to blitz him, and then you're playing 4-on-3. So it's just a fun brand of basketball, and after a long road trip that we was really bad on, it's good to get home and get back to winning.
Dorian said something to us in late February, like you said, you're like buck naked or butt naked. I don't know. You're one of the two. But it's like, and you have to get used to it. Like, it's a different kind of open. You don't want to rush because it's not the same.
Yeah, you want to take your time, but don't take too much time. You really just want to shoot it like you would shoot it if you was shooting around in the gym. There's situations where you catch it and you don't see anybody within 15 feet, and you're like, oh, I can sit here for a second, maybe take a dribble. I think that's what he's referring to when he says butt naked open. He creates such havoc for teams' defenses that 90% of the time people are blitzing him, as you could probably see, and he makes the right play out of the blitz. He doesn't try to force it too much in those situations, and he makes the right play. So therefore, you're playing 4-on-3, and then it just comes down to playing the game the right way and passing it to the open person, because 3 people can't guard 4.
This is a real line. Reeves versus the Spurs. That's where we're going to start. I'm sure you've heard the talk. We have talked about it, even said that Austin is the best third option for the Lakers. But is that even selling him a bit short? Trudell, I'll start with you.
Man, Austin Reeves is, I still think, better than the collective opinion of Austin Reeves, which has gotten understandably higher and higher. And I think that it was great for him in one way that LeBron's out here, so he has a little bit more of a chance to just establish what he's now established with Luka Doncic in just a couple of games. Because we all know how great he is alongside LeBron James. And you can see LeBron, if you cut over to him on the bench, just kind of nodding in approval, like, okay, all right, guys. And you've seen that, Ali. Like, when he's out, he's watching.
Yeah.
He's observing how things are going to work when he gets back. So, yeah, the way that you worded the question, I think there are a lot of fair ways to answer it, but I just think that Austin getting over the brief, you don't want to call it a slump, like he was just hurt, and then it took him a couple games to get his rhythm, and now he looks exactly like the guy that they've been able to depend upon for a couple of years. But now you add Luka into what they've already had with him and LeBron, and I think he's going to keep continuing to get shots like that.
You know what I like about him? First of all, he's great to us when we talk to him, pregame, postgame, whatever it is. I love how he brings the human aspect to these interviews. But also, look, he was really hard on himself when he came back from that injury. And he takes accountability. I really appreciate that. He uses some cuss words, it's okay, we've all heard him. But he gets really mad at himself. I'll tell him during the commercial. But yeah, right. But I like the fact that he's mad at himself. So maybe the collective opinion is increasing of Austin Reeves, but so are his personal expectations. He just wants to get better and better. This will be, the 4th year in a row where he's upped his scoring average? He's going to run out of runway one of these years, but so far so good. He really does get better every year.
And Ali, I didn't actually answer your question, but like the best third option in terms of a creator, an offensive creator, I think that he is so. You could argue like Derek White in terms of an all-around player, the defensive energy that he gives to the Celtics, and he's also really good on offense. That there are some guys like that. If you take Chet Holmgren or J-Dub, depending on who you take, like there are arguments to be had, but in terms of just who can create a shot for himself and for a teammate, there's nobody else in the NBA as a third guy that can match Austin to me.
Fair. The one thing you did say is you mentioned obviously with LeBron out, and we all know it's better when you are healthy and whole as a roster, correct?
Yeah.
But at least given during this time, you are getting a chance to see, for example, Luka and Austin Reeves play, not just play next to one another, but take advantage, I think so, of the opportunity and flourish. And it's been fun to watch, which I think can only benefit this team when LeBron and, of course, Rui return.
It's a good point, and I think the window to all of this, if you just remember the Brooklyn game, and Brooklyn was in this crazy, not even a blitz, it was a fire, which means like the whole team is double teaming at half court essentially. And the Lakers just didn't handle it well. Austin had just gotten back. Luka had just played a big game the day before, and like they just were kind of out of sorts. Then they had a practice, just one practice in New York, and it's like, guys, here's what you have to do in the 4-on-3. Give JJ Redick some credit for that. And he almost answered a couple of questions that I asked about it, like, okay, Mike, it's not rocket science. These guys should know how to handle a 4-on-3. You've already created the advantage. And when one of the 4-on-3, one of the four is Austin Reeves, defenses are going to be in trouble. When one of those four is LeBron James, defenses are going to be in so much trouble that they may not be able to blitz. And therefore, how are you supposed to defend the Lakers when you've got Luka and LeBron and Austin? It's a tough question to answer.
You know what I appreciate over the years? Laker fans are so rabid and passionate. They're always trying to find a third star for the Lakers, to pair with either LeBron and AD at the time, or to take the place of one of those two guys if one of them got hurt. To me, it's comical that that third star has been here all along for these 4 years, and he is turning into that guy. The fact that we're even talking about him compared to like a Derek White or maybe a Porzingis, or if you look at the Cleveland guys, I kind of have to throw them in there too.
Yeah,
obviously, sure. Donovan Mitchell, number one. Who's their number two?
Mobley, but then if Garland's the three, then
right.
That's a good player.
So that's a pretty good argument too.
Yeah.
But he has absolutely rocketed to the top 3 or 4 of the best third option in the NBA.
We're going to certainly dive into more Austin coming up later in the show, but for now, the Lakers have been knocking down their threes, and March has been good for them. This month, they're one of the top teams in the league, as you see the numbers right here in terms of three-point makes, attempts, and percentage. Here's JJ on the three-point barrage against the Spurs.
I think it was 48 threes and 34 were uncontested. Just our guys' ability to connect, and Luka leading that with 14 assists, but probably could have had 18 or 19. But to have another game with 30-plus assists, I thought our offensive decision-making and consistency, where we had 4 really good offensive quarters was great.
Yeah, people start learning that at some point in the game, they're going to double team me. So, like I always say, I accept that, and I like playing that. Saves my energy. And, you just got to play 4 and 3. And I think guys are doing great out of there. I think we share the ball very good. When we play with pace, it's very hard to stop us. And, like you said, open threes, when you have that many open threes, you should win the game and you should make threes. There was one ATL today that we ran it twice, and it was just for an alley-oop, so that explains JJ's mind, the way he sees basketball. It's amazing. But just me and AR coming off the ball, it helps me and him and everybody else, because we do it with pace. It's hard to stop us.
When Luka first arrived, I think Dorian described the kind of shots that he creates as butt-naked, wide-open threes. Seems like you've received a good amount of those tonight. I guess how open do you feel in those moments when you're, when Luka's creating, when Austin's creating, and you just have, seems like all the space in the world to, or time in the world to shoot?
I think that's why I be mad when I miss something, because how open I be. We get wide open. They don't even contest it most of the time because you got everybody in the paint kicking it out. So I think though, right, you definitely be butt naked open out there. So yeah.
Why does buck naked wide open make everyone laugh? That was a fun moment in the locker room last night. Three-point shooting. Not only have we seen, obviously, the volume increase, but the percentage has followed suit. And I think when JJ breaks it down like that, of the 48 last night that they shot, 34 being uncontested, you okay with the amount of threes, especially at this rate right now?
Sure. I call this more simply just the Luka Doncic effect. This is what happens when teams are forced to double team. You're going to create the swing passes. And to me, it's less about if it's a 3 or a 2, although, of course, you'll take the math, right? You'll take the math out of that from a mid-range to a jump shot. If they're wide open, great. Then the volume can be high. I do think that it's important against the best teams. You still have to attack the rim. And Austin Reeves has been doing a great job of that lately. I think Luka will continue to attack the rim more when he needs to against the higher leverage opponents. And LeBron James always has kind of a clock in his head that says, you know what, as a team, I don't care if they're wide open, we're taking too many threes. I need to pressure the rim. That's his instinct. That's still what he's best at. But I like the fact that LeBron doesn't have to tax himself early in games to do that because of how easily everybody else are getting shots thanks to Luka and Austin Reeves. So short answer, it's fine. Just don't forget completely about attacking the rim.
Yeah.
Mike, you work every single game. Thanks for being the Iron Man here. But Allie and I spent a lot of time in the studio together, along with Chris McGee. And Allie, I'm certain, at some point you got tired of me always saying the Lakers need more three-point shooters.
It's actually my